Thank you.
Lina. Good to have you here. Thank you so much for sparing the time. I know you've just come directly from the stage, straight here, fielding off the questions.
I have indeed.
You are from British Airways.
I am indeed.
And you're an MSK and ergonomic specialist, which we see a lot of job titles of people doing this body of work. And I don't see that one that often. And there'll be people looking after that body of work. But can you tell me about that, just very specifically about you, your role and what that looks like?
Yeah, so it's interesting to say that actually. I'm a specialist occupational health physiotherapist by background. Mm-hmm. So qualified as a physiotherapist, worked in the NHS, left the NHS after 5-6 years, moved into industry. So I still had that term physiotherapist, but when you move into industry, you learn a lot more about how to support people with musculoskeletal health in the workplace and what that actually means. And so that was my first taster, I think, when I moved into Transport for London. And then I moved from Transport for London to BT, where they changed my job title to Group Ergonomic Musculoskeletal and Wellbeing Specialist, which is a very long title. Wasn't a fan of it. Because when you're in a meeting...
it on a badge.
it absolutely does not. And yeah, you're in a meeting and you have to introduce yourself and you have to use that title.
Yeah.
And then when I went to BA, I do have a clinical role and a non-clinical role. So I do clinics twice a week, and then 3 times a week I do strategy and lead on anything MSK related and ergonomics. So for a good month, I was like, oh, what should my title be? Do I need to be occupational health physio manager? Do I need to be... They came up with the occupational health physio consultant. I'm like, no. We need to say what it is on the tin. Mm-hmm. So what I'm doing is musculoskeletal and ergonomic specialist. Mm-hmm. And that's how it came about.
I love it. It's amazing. And so, sorry, you've also shared with us there that little journey, big journey probably, that you've been on through organisations doing this work. Can I just more out of curiosity and nosiness, can I ask how, when you left the NHS, you recognised and thought, I need to take this into the workplace?
No, I fell into it. So as a physiotherapist, you don't really know about occupational health because I think nurses and doctors have like a direct route. Yeah. And I'd done my training in, when I first qualified, I worked at Royal Brompton and Harefield for 6-7 months. Then I went to Royal National Orthopaedic Hospital in Stanmore, and that's like a centre of excellence. And I was there for however many years, 5 years. And then I was like, okay, I want something different now. And I saw this ad in our physio magazine for a job at TfL. I was thinking, oh, that's quite interesting. Mm-hmm. And it's in central London, whereas I was based in Stanmore before. So I thought, okay, it would be a different location, different environment. And that's how I learned, yes, and I wanted to change it. And that's how I learned about occupational health. Up until then, I didn't know what occupational health was. And if I think back then at Stanmore, when I thought about occupational health, you think, oh, it's a small hut in the back. Definitely not that anymore. So yeah, it's moved leaps and bounds, I think, occupational health. I think there's still a lot more that we could do. But that's how I fell into occupational health.
Really exciting.
Yeah.
What a great, development.
I know. It
you
just happened.
Like you've struck gold.
Yeah, well, I don't think the reality of it hit me. And I was at Transport for London for a very long time. And when you're in that environment, you're learning. I was with an in-house physio, an in-house occupational health team. So I'm with nurses and doctors who understand what occupational health is. And so you're learning being around them. So it's all incidental learning, do you know? And yeah. Now, when I look back, I think, oh my God, that was so invaluable for me.
Well, now that enables you to do this more strategic piece as well, doesn't it? Fascinating. And all these workplaces as well, these particular workforces, TfL,
British, BT.
BT, yeah, I thought that's what you said.
British,
BT and now BA, incredible, such diverse workforces in terms of all the jobs that everyone's doing, so physical. How long have you been with BA then?
So I've been in this full-time role since October, just October gone, but I was contracting and doing clinical work with them since 2018, 2019. So they had a doctor there, consultant physician, who said, you need to think about looking at or having occupational health physiotherapy. It's different to physiotherapy. Mm-hmm. And so they approached me. I said, look, I've got a full-time job, not really interested, but I'll come and speak to you about what it is so I can explain it to you. So I went over and spoke to them. Left it, and then I was thinking, oh my God, this is an opportunity that I should not let go of. So I said, yeah, I'll do a clinic here 1 day a week, and it's kind of grown from that since 2018. But yes, the last year I went over full time.
Amazing. And I'm curious, how much opportunity is there for you to educate and be kind of preventative with the knowledge that you have versus dealing with the kind of MSK injuries and challenges that come up as a result of this work?
It's huge. It's huge. I've come into this role and I'm working in a team that's so supportive. I'm one of those people that has all these ideas. I'm always reading, always listening. You have experience from your clinics. And all you want is to be able to create. And that's what they allow. So I have all this opportunity, and we've just created, what I was talking about earlier with Morris, our wellbeing manager, is that we've created rehab classes airside for our Heathrow operation team. So these are the people who do heavy jobs. You know, the job demands are so high, and we know that they need to be fitter and stronger. So we got that buy-in from leadership who supported us, that showed the value that they have. So although it comes from a reactive place, it's actually secondary prevention.
So what are they doing, like group
Yeah, we started it a month ago. It's like, it's been a journey. I could tell you, if anyone it's been a journey. It's been going on for like a year. So I got asked to present at the Heathrow leadership team meeting in terms of what my vision or what our vision is for musculoskeletal health. So I presented that, and as part of that, one of the streams was putting together occupational rehab classes, because we see people who, you know, are baggage handlers, are ramp agents. It's a very physically demanding job. We can give them advice in terms of what their condition is. We can give them physio treatment. We can get them to do exercises. But the bit that was missing was that the strength and conditioning that they needed. So, and then they'll end up having an issue again later. They develop poor work habits. Then that leads to problems later on in life. And we want to be able to help them look after musculoskeletal health as they grow older as well, which is so important. And so we got this support from the leadership team, gave us a space. Having space at airside is a big thing because it's a hot commodity. I remember the first day I went to look at it. So we've got you this space, come and have a look at it. I went to look at it and I was imagining something, I don't know, in the basement, but it wasn't. It was on first floor. Two of the walls just windows looking out the at the ramp. So you've got your planes. They've got showering facilities nearby. All these little things, and that one moment made me think they're interested in this. They value this. They're supporting us. So then we had to go through all the hurdles, because there are quite a few hurdles to get to where we are. And now we are running rehab classes. So we run physio clinics there, and then we run rehab classes as well. And I was there yesterday. Speak to the people who are going to the rehab classes, asking them, how was it going? What do you think? And it was, do you know, I walked away feeling like, oh my God, I can't believe this is so great, so happy, so positive. So you just, you feel like you're on cloud nine, if you could say that. Yeah.
What an achievement. It's like, congratulations. We speak to a lot of people. I've not heard this.
Oh, it's just great. Yeah.
I've not heard this. This is incredible. I mean, we get, I myself teach yoga in workplaces, you get that, but this is strategic.
Yeah.
With specific purpose, supporting a specific cohort based on what they're doing. Love it. And how did they find it? Have you got feedback yet?
Yeah,
so anecdotal feedback.
The feedback's been good so far. What we're going to do is we're going to evaluate it, but we're going to evaluate it in terms of how much of a difference does it make to the individual that's there. So the value that it brings to them in terms of their musculoskeletal health. But being at work, the confidence at being at work, I think that's really important. And I guess because we just started a month ago, we'll wait a few months, maybe 3-4 months, to get a good amount of data. And then, the leadership team are already interested. They said, oh, can you come over and present? So I'm going there next week, just to give them an update on how it's going. So it's not like, okay, fine, we're going to support this and that's it. They're like, oh no, come and tell us how is it going. And then obviously in a few months' time, when I have more information, I'll go back and tell them that. So the interest is still there. The feedback from the colleagues has been great. I spoke to them yesterday, a few of them, but I've also called a few people when we first started it up, and they were really shocked at the exercise they were being asked to do. So we tailored the exercises to the work tasks that they will do. So Darren is a physio that's based there. We spent half a day looking out the window, looking at all the jobs people were doing, right? And we're like, okay, so yeah,
reaching, twisting.
And so we know, so we think, okay, this is what we need to do, this is what we need to do, this is what we need to do. And then we put together this circuit, and it's just landed so well. And we're like, it's hit the spot that what we need, that gap that we need to fill. And people are so engaged, you know, they're excited about coming back to the second session, to the third session. People are coming on their off days. Work is supporting them coming on the days that they're meant to be on shift. So yeah, it's landed well. Feedback so far has been really positive. It's great.
Great. I hope you're going to share with the outside world the results of the progress of this. I think it's really, really exciting. And also, it really is, I mean, I want to say the word no-brainer, maybe that's a bit much, but of course we should be helping people to function and train to function. You know, like we train these days, there's so much popularity with going to the gym, and I know a lot of that is, you know, very functional, but also we're kind of a bit too worried sometimes about our, you know, running times, our park run speeds, or our like our quads or whatever. And actually, maybe just like, can you bend over? Can you bend your knees and stand up without your back hurting? Like, what are the more functional things that relate directly to what you need to do, whether that's work and the job that you do, or whether that's, you know, your life as a mum. And I think sometimes we just forget that a little bit, don't we? So it's good to kind of pull it back. And
exercise and movement, it's not, like you said, not always about your PB, is it?
No,
it's actually about just feeling good. And I think that's what well-being is. People always say, we need to be better and so forth. I don't think it's about being better. I actually just, if you want to do things better, fine, but I actually really think it's more about feeling good. And what does that look like to you? And like,
I'm sure you'll see that when you get the feedback, because that's the ripple effect, isn't it? Of, you know, you do the thing and maybe there is a bit of kind of function and education in it, like this is why, but actually the feeling that you have afterwards is the magic. Exciting.
Very much so,
yeah. All right, what else should we talk about? So tell me about, how was your session? What was talked about? What was the vibe?
Yeah, the session was really good. Talked about the rehab class that we set up, our vision at British Airways in terms of health services, going from a reactive utilisation of occupational health to much more of a preventative, and what that looks like, how we want to use data, how we want to take on board what our colleagues say, working really closely with wellbeing and making sure that everything's aligned. And it's interesting, I was having a chat with our wellbeing manager last week, and people access services at the point of need. So you can have all of this stuff there, but people are not really going to pay attention to it until they need it. And when they need it, they then have to try and find it, which can be quite frustrating for people at that point. And our plan really is about making it seamless for the individual. That front door, this is where you need to go to for support. But what happens behind the scenes, the nuanced part, that's for us to figure out and make sure it's seamless for the individual.
So what is their front door?
The front door usually is someone goes off sick, it's occupational health, it goes to bars, right? But there is so much more that we can do in the workplace from a wellbeing perspective, that preventative, that proactive. So we're looking at, so like, for example, the big check-in. So people, you know, Maurice's team, our wellbeing manager's team, goes out to different parts of the business and measures people's blood pressure, their sugar levels, their cholesterols. So people are aware of what their health status is. And does that, you know, does that help them feel better or make better choices for them or make good choices for them? But they have a face-to-face conversation with the wellbeing champion. And I think that's really important, talking about your health, because people don't always talk about their health. They, you know, there used to be a lot of stigma about mental health, and that, I think that's getting a bit less. But I think there also seems to be stigma about musculoskeletal health. So unless it becomes a big problem, people stay quiet about it. So they're kind of aches and pains, but they don't really talk about it.
Yeah, people learn to live with a lot of pain, don't they?
And why should they? So, you know, our vision is spinning that and getting people to talk, but making it easy for them to make the choices, but at work. So the point, we want it to be the norm. We want people to just thrive at work for it to be the norm, though.
Were there any interesting kind of opinions or feedback or questions from people on this MSK conversation? Because I feel like we've kind of come back round to MSK. I feel like maybe 8 years ago, there was quite a lot of conversation about MSK, and then we moved into mental health and broadened the conversation. But the MSK problems are still there in organisations.
Yeah.
You know, we maybe evolved and got some standing desks and talked about, you know, sitting is the new smoking, sedentary lifestyles, but we didn't solve the MSK issues quite yet. This is, to me, what it needs to look like, what you're talking about. So it's like going back to just getting some people moving and coaching and guiding them. But it seems the conversation's back.
I think MSK has always been an issue, right?
Yeah.
But I think during COVID, the mental health took a rise, and there was a lot more spotlight on it. There's a lot of evidence in terms of what good support in the workplace would look like when it comes to MSK health.
Right.
But I guess what we're wanting to do is actually not separate them, because we are a whole, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Our body and mind is one. We need to look at someone as a whole. We need to take a holistic approach, and we know that when you are physically fit, you're mentally fit. Equally, when you're not going through a great time mentally, being physically active can help you. So we need to, rather than chopping and changing between physical and mental, it actually should just be one.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That's our long-term vision.
Yeah, love it. So this isn't quite your remit, so don't worry if you can't speak fully to this, but what sort of, how do you communicate with all of those people? Like, what's the workforce? VA workforce?
Oh, the amount. Oh, God, thousands. Do I want, well, let me think. I feel like I want to say around 30,000.
Okay. So that, we're talking a large workforce.
Yeah.
In different places, working different jobs. What are the methods of communication about these things?
So we have our internet, right? And so people can access information on the internet. We've just launched a platform, Viva Engage.
Oh, yeah.
So people can chat and communicate and update, and you can have different groups on there. And then word of mouth. Things get delivered word of mouth through meetings and floor plate briefings and.
Yeah, and you mentioned champions before, actually. So you've got a champions network.
Yes.
Champions network.
Yeah.
So they're handy, and what does their role look like?
So the wellbeing champions run different initiatives in their areas. So we've got our cabin crew areas, we've got engineering areas, we've got our flight deck, we've got our ramp agents, and so we've got wellbeing champions that are across the whole business. And then depending on what they want to put forward or what they want to do, they'll get in touch and they go, we want to do this, can you come and talk about this? Or we want to do the big check-in, or we've got this. And so we work with them in terms of what the areas want. Yeah,
so you're able to be responsive. Yeah, okay.
Because different areas have different requirements, right? So it's not one size fits all. So you want to be reactive and responsive to what the areas want and what they need and what the colleagues say they want. Yeah.
And so with the sort of growth of technology and AI in the kind of wellness space, have you seen any interesting products or technologies emerging? There's a few here today.
Yeah.
That can help with the challenge that you have ahead of you.
So I haven't been around to have a look, really. I've been at some of the talks. But the technologies that I've looked at have been more MSK related, physio related. So those are your triages, isn't it? In terms of you've got these symptoms, this is what it could be, these are the exercise you could do. And I think that does work well. Especially someone who's working 24/7 or working shift patterns, getting hold or going to see a GP or seeing a health professional can be a bit difficult when they want a quick check. So I think those kind of tools work really well in that scenario. So seeing those. Yeah, and then we have Unmind app available, and people use that a lot out at work, and we will signpost them to certain videos on there. I've used Calm app myself. I love that app. And then we've just started working with Body Coach.
Amazing.
Yeah, and that has landed really well. There's been quite a huge uptake of people using Body Coach, and I've spoken to various people.
Like BAPE classes.
Yeah, well, and it's really good because it's so different. So some people have taken the eating aspect to it, which is what I've taken. I've made lunch for the first time in years. Yeah, normally I just buy lunch. I get my salad a couple of days and then whatever. But for the last 2-3 weeks, I have made lunch for the first time in my career. And that's made a big change for me. But then, people use exercises. People have been using it just to get them thinking about what they want to do. And there's like small bits there. It's quite motivating.
Was it like a tailored content package that you, or was it like a...
No, so it's a body coach app itself that people can access. But then when you complete it, it tailors certain exercises for you, and then it's certain food for you. But you can use the whole library and, you know, pick what you want. But we did take it one bit further and worked with Joe to create short videos of short movement exercises for people in different jobs.
Lovely. I was kind of hoping that that's what you were going to get.
Yeah, so we did that, and that was really, really great. So we looked at the data coming into physio in terms of what the injuries people are having or what the problems, and then using that we spoke to Joe and said these are the issues, and he put together some exercises. And so for our ramp agents we had one lot, for our cabin crew we had another lot, and for our pilots we had another lot, and it was so good.
Yeah, I love that. And also the kind of the fact that it's for them.
Yeah,
I bet that really kind of helps to get the engagement going on. So what are they doing, like some stretches in the like little vestibule area on the plane?
Yeah,
take off.
So like for the ramp agents, we've got them to do loads of hip openers and back strengthening and leg strengthening and forearm stretches, right? Because for the pushing and the pulling and the heavy load. For our cabin crew in the galleys, we've got a very short space, right? So whilst they've got some downtime, why not do some shoulder stretches, pec stretches, ankle mobility, because they're walking around quite a bit.
Making me ramen.
Right, yeah. And then when it comes to our pilots, they're sitting for periods of time, right? If they're on long haul, what can they do? You know, like some shoulder rotations when they're sitting there, some neck exercises. So yeah, it was really specific and it was really good.
Yeah, I love that. Well done. That sounds really interesting. I think it's small stuff, isn't it? I mean, as I said, I do share yoga in workplaces, and actually my favourite stuff to share is just a little sequence at a desk, because actually that's way more kind of accessible. It doesn't require getting in yoga leggings or stretching in front of your colleague, like bending over in front of your colleagues or anything like that. It's just really functional, helpful stuff based on the thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
Well done. It sounds like you're having like really great impact at BA and in the work that you're doing, and I'm so happy to hear about that and those amazing projects with the group strength stuff. So we'll look forward to hearing more about how that goes. But thank you so much for your time today.
Anytime, thank you.
Work Wellbeing's podcast, and please do join us in the community and your colleagues in the health and wellbeing team.
Yeah.
And we just love to have more people in there sharing stories and amazing work. You can share case studies there and things.
Great, will do. Thank you so much for the chat.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. This episode is brought to you by Wellhub, the corporate wellness platform transforming how companies care for their teams with a single subscription. Get an exclusive free trial using the link in the description below.